the third place matches, your last chance, your last hope. You have been playing for 1 year to actually qualify for the World Finals, like to split, and everything will be gone if you actually lose, so you need to win that game.
Well, never more has that ever been so relevant right now, because everything could well be gone. You just saw Veggie being so harsh on his team, and maybe he needs to be. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to get underway for Game 3 between SK Gaming and ROCCAT, and right now, ROCCAT look down and out because SK Gaming, they are 2-0 up and could indeed be taking that third seat at Worlds. And honestly, you've got to look at that last match and think, what the hell was going on in ROCCAT's minds?
Well, I can't answer you that question. It seems like Veggie can't really answer that question either. And something is definitely deeply wrong with ROCCAT at this point. This is not the ROCCAT that we saw yesterday. This is not the ROCCAT that we've seen performing well in the last few weeks of the summer split. This is not the ROCCAT that finished third in the spring playoffs. This is not really a ROCCAT that we've used to seeing at all. So something big has to change here, and I hope that what was obviously a stern talk from Veggie is going to change how they play.
Crazy, crazy stuff. So, Zillion Nami, Kog'Maw, Maokai. Bans already coming through. This is the big thing. SKR on the red side. That top lane's been a problem. Kassadin banned out, Nidalee banned out, and immediately Aatrox open for SK.
Yeah, Tristana is open, Kha'Zix is open, Morgana is open. Like, remember last game in Picks and Bans, they actually took Morgana and Kha'Zix over Tristana and left it open for Celaver, and then they took Twitch instead for CandyPanda. They might be looking to do the same here, seeing as they don't first pick the AD carry.
And that constant pain of Freddy just pushing, TP in, knock a couple of guys up, stay alive, kill him off, then he's back alive again. Really annoying to play, I think, against this Aatrox for Freddy. Definitely is one of his outstanding champions in that top lane. For ROCCAT now, though, they get the pick, and for me, it has to be a strong... Yeah, that's a good choice, exactly. I was going to say a strong mid laner. Jesiz has been good on Ahri in the first 2 games, take it away, but he'll just go Ariana.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not just taking the Ahri. I mean, ROCCAT is losing to Jesiz on Ahri because, as we've just talked about, as the analyst as we're talking about, they don't ward the flanks at all. So it's so easy for Jesiz to come around them, kill the AD carry in the back, and look fantastic. Overpow and ROCCAT might not be able to do the same if SK Gaming can ward properly here. So yes, they do take it away from Jesiz. Orianna is open. There are other mid lane choices for him as well. Xaxus if he wants to play it. The first pick Aatrox is a little bit weird though, because you don't actually take too much away from ROCCAT by taking the Aatrox. Xaxus played it once in the last few weeks. I would instead have preferred Tristana. They might get it anyway, or the Morgana pickup if they wanted 4 and rated on support.
I'm just surprised ROCCAT actually didn't lock in Tristana there. That's what caught me out.
It's gonna be Kayle support again.
Again, Kha'Zix for Svenskeren, a champion he's very comfortable on. They're not putting SK out of their comfort zone. SK are happy to get these picks right now. ROCCAT, they've got to do something. They've got to pull out something big. They need a big play. And with Celaver seemingly going to have to fall back onto maybe Corki, or could pull out Twitch, but pretty sure it's going to be Corki for him. This is an interesting one.
Okay.
That may well open things up. A Jax locked in against Freddy's Aatrox.
We haven't seen Jax in a long time. After he got the changes where he lost a lot of his base HP, lost some defensive stats, and we haven't actually seen him since. Against Aatrox here, can have a bit of a trouble in the early game, but will of course outscale him in terms of one-on-one, but will not have the same impact in teamfight, will be very squishy, has to get some early tank items as well. You still want to get 24's player through King to be a split pushing force, but then you are fairly squishy compared to the old Jax we used to see. And just on the other side of SK Gaming, the Kayle pickup was the most predictable one from SK Gaming ever, and ROCCAT would have known it, because it's what nRated plays into Morgana, and at the same time, Ahri has already been locked in. She wants to assassinate your carry. Well, now there's an ulti from a Kayle to stop it. There's also a shield from the Orianna. So ROCCAT is basically taking away the Ahri from Jesiz, but instead just give SK Gaming a lot of protection for their late game hyper carry, who's going to be more than safe in these team fights, because the Jax as well, if he's not insanely fed and if he jumps towards Tristana is one of the best AD carries at defending herself because of her ulti. So if a Jax jumps towards you, you just shoot him back instantly and he won't be able to kill you. So then it's all about overpower, but then suddenly you have your ulti now from the Kayle, which we knew was going to get locked in against Morgana here. So I guess that was probably the idea behind SK Gaming first picking Aatrox, saying there's still so many good picks open. We actually hope you're gonna pick something like the Ahri. We're gonna hope you're gonna pick the Morgana, because then we have Kayle ready, who's gonna counter both of them. Because remember the laning phase, Kayle against Morgana, just constantly push it into the tower over and over again. There was nothing VandeR could do against him, and that's about it. There's probably gonna be more in game, but I'm gonna save it.
Is that it?
For now, it's it.
You sure?
Say whatever you want.
Well, I'll say whatever I want. Okay, that's great. Which team comp do you think has come out with the edge moving into Game 3? Tweet us hashtag SKWin or hashtag ROCWin to @LOL Esports. And we'll see if champion selectors manage to sway your votes. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a heavy SK swing right now, because Roccat, are they on tilt? That's the question.
They are. We've just seen that in game number 2. They were just not good whatsoever. As I mentioned before, Veggie's had a big talk to him. It's got to change. I have to say that I'm a really big fan of Kha'Zix and Tristana in the same team. A clean-up crew, getting those resets this entire time. So hard if you lose one man to keep the rest alive.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Is it the third and final game? Match point for SK Gaming as they move in as the blue team, and with very comfortable picks coming out their way. They're up against Roccat, who had to roll the dice and see if they can play anything new here. They've got themselves some interesting picks. They've got the possibility to get some kills. Question is, will they make them count? They had a 4-0-4 Cassin, a 4-1-4 Tristana in the last game, and still let the match slip away from them. They have to take that out of their minds and focus on what is at hand, and that is winning this next match.
And Roccat is basically looking to split push here. You have Jack split pushing in one lane, you have then Overpow in the other side lane, and then you have Celaver sitting in the mid lane. Jinx is very good at pushing down towers if she gets to the towers, but she's not the AD carry being the most wave player. You have to get the static shift if you want to clear the waves fast enough. So as long as you get static shift fairly early on, they will be able to split up in this 1-3-1 and just keep Celaver in the mid lane. Xaxus is gonna beat Freddy in the late game once he gets Trinity Force and Blade, but I wonder if he's actually gonna get like Trinity Force or Blade and then a tank item, if maybe Roccat want to look for some early team fights, which they probably shouldn't in the case they want Xaxus to be a split pushing monster.
So what about Jackson? Because we saw him rise to popularity in Europe as, or not just in Europe to be honest, worldwide as #1 top lane pick, and as you said, his base health and what have you, his tankiness basically really got hit. How much did it, I mean, obviously it's affected a lot because he just completely disappeared. They are actually going around, they've not been spotted, Roccat, moving in towards this blue buff.
They're again lane swapping. They don't want to have Morgana against Kayle, they want to have Tristana against the Jinx, so sending up in top lane.
Great play there. I think they were watching the OGN earlier because we saw the exact same thing sneaking along the top edge there, and they will get that blue steal. Can they react quick enough? They need to get to their own blue buff. I'm not too sure they're going to do it. Looks like it's going to be a 4-0 up the top lane instead. So 4-1 because Freddy's sticking around there actually, which is dangerous of him. I think he may realize the peril of his situation if he stays there, but clever play. Clever early start from Roccat. And actually, well, that's something they have done every single game so far, but
yeah,
can they make it count now?
So it's always funny also to see SK Gaming in lane swaps. They're one of the only teams to actually keep the top laner in the lane and just try and get some experience, try and get some farm if possible. Also because they invest so much farm and so much gold onto Svenskeren so he can become a carry. They're not doing this top lane and jungler running together, sharing farm like we see Roccat do, and like we see most teams do. They always keep Freddy to 1v2 in the top lane, and it often means people actually walk up there with 4 members and dive him and try and kill him.
Well, Aatrox certainly makes it harder to do that with the passive in there, but we've seen attempts come. Some of them have been good, some of them have been a little bit dodgy, but it looks like we're going to be seeing this one happen. Jax's coming in, Elisa's moving in as well. Everybody
heads towards that top lane. Freddy is still there, he's got his passive available, already realizes something's up, and this happened before, and he's this time again going to avoid the damage. That's going to be an early tower. Let's see if SK can react. Let's see if they can go for that dragon like they did before. There is a ward to spot Svenskeren if he goes for it. Jump comes out, leap strike from Xaxus. Not pushing too heavy on this turret just yet, but I think they should take it.
This is a very, very smart ward by Rocket around the Dragon here, so they can actually spot if SK is starting it and react to it, either by taking this tower and pushing down for the next tower. Because remember, SK Gaming is moving to this Dragon now. That is 3 members gone. Level 1 Aatrox is not going to be able to do any wave there. So if Rocket actually would have responded properly here, they're going to take in the top tower, push down for the next one, and actually take that as well, trade it for Dragon.
Well, we did see the flash being used by Freddy. Honestly,
okay, they want to stop.
There's a TP actually onto the minions at the bottom, so they want to try and stop this one. Dragon was down to half HP. Xaxus going to come around and actually will just jump off to the ward. Dragon, though, is going to reset.
Okay, so Rocket taking the safe play here. Don't want to try and trade 2 towers in the top lane for the Dragon. And once again, the ward they place the Dragon pays off because they can see SK Gaming started, instantly react to it, teleport down to the bottom lane for Xaxus, and everyone just running from the top lane. So, safe play, and finally actually a good ward by Rocket here.
Yeah, good ward, spotted it out in that jungle, and they were very close. You could see the decision-making for Xaxus, like, do I make the play and jump on Svenskeren and possibly die, but could set up kills and a potential Dragon for the rest of my team, or do I get this ward and get the hell out of there? He went for the safe option. Wise choice. nRated jumped on this time around. Xaxus will come down with the help of Jankos, and they're going to try and put pressure on towards this bottom lane pairing.
And again, difference in teams here. Jankos will always go down and help Xaxus in these 1v2s, also because the wave was actually... CandyPanda was able to freeze the wave and deny all the farm from Xaxus if Jankos wasn't there to help push it out. So now he's joining him in the bottom lane, push it into the tower, reset the whole wave, and therefore allows Xaxus to pick up some experience once the next minions arrive.
Top turret very, very low though. It's only going to take 1 auto attack out of Jinx to finish that one off. And now we see Svenskeren coming around. Was spotted by the Death Brush ward though, so won't be able to actually get in there for any action, although he's coming up now towards this mid lane. Just wants to get the wards down. Make sure that he spots whoever's going to be moving on. There he spots Xaxus as well, and Svenskeren is going to go back on his merry way to farming. And speaking of farm, that mid lane, Overpow slightly ahead. Crucial that Overpow steps up this game because he had a brilliant start on Kassadin, but the plays that he made after he got that lead just didn't work out for him whatsoever.
Spotted fairly late. Freddy will be backing away from that one. Celaver still continuing to hold this wave. Freddy's desperately trying to get involved on this experience, trying to get himself up. They still equal with Xaxus. Flash was burned earlier on, so we'll see whether we'd want to see Jankos maybe coming up, being involved in so many first bloods for his team. He is heading back towards the top half of the jungle, but he's simply doing his routine right now, sweeping out those waves. And as that wave pushes in a bit, we're going to see Celaver putting some pressure down. Interested to see how Celaver does on Jinx in this one.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about how his champion pool is potentially limited. The 2 junglers paying a visit to the top.
Jankos actually going to face check straight into Svenskeren there. Jankos already down to half HP. Might actually have to repel away from it. Some of VandeR and Celaver coming in. There is a leap away though. And Svenskeren forced back. That tower, of course, already gone. They might want to push the second one. CandyPanda and nRated in the meantime, pushing bottom.
I really like the way Rocket has been playing this lane swap here. They send up VandeR once the waves start pushing down towards Aatrox again, so to make sure that you could zone him away. Jankos join in, they're pushing out his next tower. They stopped the Dragon as well, something they didn't do yesterday in the lane swaps. So they've been actually doing a very good job here. Xaxus, however, down his bottom lane is still struggling a little bit for farm because he's left alone now while Rocket is pushing. But it's a smart push because there's 2 members in the bottom lane and it's only Freddy and Svenskeren to try and clear it.
Yeah, of course, in the mid lane, they're not going to be getting too involved in this one. Jankos now using that timing well to try and come across and get that blue. Realizes the moment Jesiz moves, Overpow tries to go aggressive on him. Has to land that charm in the right point. Instead, he gets caught with the distortion. And that's going to be Jankos. He's going to steal this one away with a smite. And SK can do nothing about it.
It's gone. That buff is gone. The turret is going down as well on this bottom lane. That will actually leave us almost level on gold, 9.8 to 10.1. Freddy, in the meanwhile, does get a little bit of help here from Svenskeren. We know how potent a Jinx is at all levels of the game when it comes to towers, and there's Freddy taking another big hit after the binding.
Always just getting a few hits on it. We'll actually trade blue buffs, so in the end they end up getting a bot tower or getting a tower each, getting a blue buff each, but still Rocket managed to dodge around some tricky lanes. Didn't have to deal with the Jax versus Aatrox in the early game. And at the same time, didn't have to have the Morgana and Jinx against the Kayle and Tristana here. So dodged around the lanes and managed to actually go even in the lane swap.
Yeah, Rocket trying everything they can, but not working out. Looks like it's going to be an Infinity Edge start for both Celaver and CandyPanda. Meanwhile, of course, it's Freddy that's actually gained the most from this because he's got that 10 extra CS farm over Xaxus. And you really do kind of want to get that Jax going, but it's not really worked out in his favor, and he's going to be holding. Freddy pushing the wave up, so he's not going to be stepped and kept away from this one. So see how these lanes progress and move in as they start to go standard laning, as we see the 2v2.
Yeah, that is a place where Rocket has been losing out on the lane swap though. Between the two top laners, big wave coming into the tower up in this top side here, and Xaxus will be forced to stay on the tower to take the wave. He can't teleport away now, which is why SK Gaming instantly moved towards this dragon, because Freddy can go back to base, shop, and then teleport to dragon, be 5 members. If Xaxus teleports now, he will lose the entire wave. He will be too far behind. So SK Gaming just wanted to see if anyone from Rocket was nearby. Luckily for Rocket, there was enough members to force SK away.
So pink ward was cleared, sweeping lenses being used by Rocket. They are actually gaining a little bit of vision, but SK just replaced them all. The moment they get forced away, nRated eats a dart binding and a zap. Oh, look at this. CandyPanda going aggressive. Celaver, he's got no tower to fall back to. There's 3v2 and they're in a situation here. Jankos now comes back in. He tries to join out. Teleport comes out. Xaxus wants to get involved. Counter-Strike is ready and available. Is he going to be able to land it though? No, teleport came from Freddy, but it got cancelled. Meanwhile, Jesiz pounced on. Overpow trying to go aggressive. Ignite running, but again, Spirit Rush. Will he have enough to try and get on towards him? No, he can't get close enough. And Jesiz knows it. Sidesteps it. Rocket try and move in towards the dragon, but this is a risky play, and they've left the top lane exposed to Freddy.
Yeah, so Freddy won't be able to join, but he can push tower. Oh, Svenskeren going very low.
Yeah, but it's Jankos that's actually really in trouble here. There is CandyPanda diving in once to get a bit more damage comes around. Xaxus coming over the side, going for nRated, who's only level 5, so he's got no intervention here. Chompers are on top of him, and that will be first blood picked up by Celaver. Can they get any more? Will they be able to finish Dragon? It looks like they will.
SK Gaming is still staying around this. Svenskeren wants to try and go for the steal. They should just back away now. Let the dragon go to Rocket here. Try and trade it for the top tower instead. Jesiz was very low in the mid lane. He wouldn't be able to join either. And it seems like, yeah, okay, Freddy will be able to get the top tower. So trading tower for dragon here and getting even more farm on Aatrox. Jax is already behind after the lane swap, remember. Now he's even further behind because Freddy's just been sitting in this top lane and pushing it in.
Yeah, it's a big difference already building. 600 gold between those two lanes, and that could well be the difference of a major item being completed when this next dragon comes around. CandyPanda strolls past, finds himself a pink ward. Thank you very much for the 30 gold. Now with that bottom tower down, does open up for SK to start pressuring lanes. Top one down, Freddy not backing away here. He's pushed it all the way in towards that top tower, just dives away, making sure that Jankos doesn't get any advantage and catch on towards him. Not going to keep that red buff ward. It will get cleaned out, but SK looks like they're going to group. It's going to be a 4-man attack on this mid lane turret.
It's going to be hard though. There's some decent wave play from Overpow. Should be able to keep the wave away from his tower here. And he is actually doing it. It's also because the bottom lane tower is gone. So SK Gaming needs to send CandyPanda down to this bottom lane again to pick up all this farm. He's actually going to join in very late. We'll end up losing just a little bit.
Trotting on down to that bottom side of the map. BF sword, and let's have a look how much gold they've got to spend here, because I kind of feel like it must be a decent amount at this stage. It was a BF sword that was picked up first of all. 1,300 gold, okay, so decent amount there for Celaver to actually be going home with. Sorry, CandyPanda. Celaver's got even more. He's sat on 2,000 gold, so he's just going to head straight off there, and that Infinity Edge is going to be coming out pretty quickly for him in this one. And actually he's gone Zeal in there, so we were talking about this yesterday and how Celaver has decided to build through.
Yeah, actually yesterday he went for Zeal as well, but then he didn't finish the static shift. He went Infinity Edge instead of just getting this early static shift and get the wave clear. They do have Overpow in the mid lane, clearing the waves here though, so they don't necessarily need it instantly, and he will actually get his 2 item spike pretty fast because he picked up the first blood.
Blue buff about to spawn, I feel. Celaver might get pounced on. CandyPanda's been aggressive the last few times. Look at this, 3 members here coming around. Can they get the attack on towards him? They're going to have to burn something. He's got no flash. He's going down, and that's a simple executed move by SK.
And Jankos is up in the top lane here, so he's not here to help defending. It's only VandeR to clear the wave. SK Gaming pushing onto the tower.
And I think they're going to get it. There's Tell alive, and there's big scary VandeR. He's to bully them away.
Well, blue buff was up, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oriana actually coming over for that one. It looks like Jesiz might be gifted the blue. There it is. So nice pick up there for Jesiz. He's just going to go back off into his lane. 123 to 118 CS. So Overpow doing a good job of actually keeping level on this one. Top lane though, there's still a massive difference as CandyPanda jumps in quite aggressive onto Overpow. It's obvious that they're going to be looking for this tower now.
Massive confidence from SK here. The fact that you can just see it in the way they're making these plays. You know, they're jumping into the fights. They want to go aggressive. Soul Shackles comes out. VandeR backs away. Ultimate for ultimate traded on support. nRated. Again, intervention, no problem. Xaxus, he cannot keep Freddy away. We talked about it. Just keeps pushing wave after wave after wave, crashing onto that tower. And Xaxus simply only has a VandeR Scepter so far.
Yeah.
He cannot do a lot. That's why we're seeing the help of Jankos, but he gets jumped on. And Freddy, if he goes and full on and pops that ultimate, he could get close to 2v1 in him. Instead, he's gonna flash away. Didn't fancy it. With the Dragon available soon, manages to hold on. Sticks strong, nRated. No intervention for him. Rocket comes through, flashed out of.
Good solid flash there as well. Probably would have killed him if he'd have actually connected. Didn't. Oh, actually they did use summon a heal from CandyPanda, so that will be down for the next encounter when this dragon comes up in less than 2 minutes. But CandyPanda continuing to farm up. He was on 1,700 or 1,400 gold. I can't remember. One of the two earlier on. And must be sat, yeah, 2,500 gold now. So he's just going to go home and then go back into lane with an Infinity Edge. We'll see what else he decides to be going for. Could do with some boots here probably as well if he's going to keep up this solo pushing that he's gone with. Meanwhile, Rocket have grouped with 3 men in the bottom lane. Could be looking to take down that tower.
Very, very standard Rocket play here. Always Jankos joining in with the dual lane, pushing down these towers. Will they probably be able to get this bottom lane tower?
Oh, risky though. SK
a lot of people
responding
coming.
in force. There is teleport available for Freddy. Nowhere really to teleport into behind them. They hit the tower and they try and back away. And remember, no ultimate from VandeR. Use that Soul Shackles earlier on. Svenskeren getting the damage down. Shockwave comes out. Jankos repels. He's going to try and draw their attention. They're going to keep on pushing this one. Xaxus teleports in. Intervention will stop him dead in his tracks. I have no idea what the hell Xaxus thought he was going to do with a Phage and VandeR Scepter. Overpower, he's not even going to get the middle turret. And SK, again, showing tactical dominance.
All right, let's see it again here. Svenskeren coming in, Jesiz joining too. And now at this point, Rocket knows there's 4 members from SK Gaming, and they see the teleport as well. They see the ward coming out from Jesiz here. Teleport comes in, Xaxus teleporting in behind, while everyone else is actually already running away, and Jankos is left just to die, and everyone else can escape. Made no sense at all, because Overpow was just sitting in the mid lane. He wasn't part of the fight. It was never going to be 5 versus 5. And we actually just end up wasting our teleport, giving up 2 kills. We did get the bot tower at least, and I talk like I'm Rocket.
But it would have been a 1-for-0, and Xaxus could have got this massive wave all the way along the top. Instead, he doesn't, and Freddy's going in again.
Oh, Freddy is going to get his blood well popped here. There are the jumpers down though, and that will seal up one. Super Mega Death Knock, he comes through. Overpow gets the kill. Jankos going deep as well, but look at the return damage there. Tristana with that Infinity Edge, just masses of damage coming their way, but it is for a 1-for-0, and I guess that's how Rocket have got to start this one.
Well, Dragon now live. Look at CandyPanda again jumping on Jankos. Managed to land the cocoon, but that may well have been the death of him. He's got an Infinity Edge, CandyPanda, don't forget. He has got massive amounts of damage at this early stage in the game, and he's looking to make plays. Jesiz, Shockwave used. That's off cooldown as they move in. Overpow does still have that Spirit Rush, so Rocket may try and bully SK out of this one, but I think they're just simply waiting. They're going to try and flank their way in. Now they can delay it. Freddy's making his way back to wave. You can see Svenskeren caught out. Intervention used early this time around. Rocket will back away, but it is all simply buying time. Xaxus so low, and in comes the big mean Freddy. Overpower singled out. Spirit rushes around. He does get himself 1 kill. The Dragon will get picked up by SK though, and that's going to be Rocket falling hard to SK once again. 2v1 and the Dragon. SK, everything going their way in game 3.
So Rocket, they started the Dragon. They don't fully commit to actually killing it and get the smite and just back away them from the fight. They stay around, and then Overpower, as soon as the binding actually landed onto, we're just going to see it again. If binding lands onto Svenskeren, notice how Overpower is taking so much damage from CandyPanda. because he wants to go in and trade. Instant ult from nRated. Meanwhile, Xaxus is solo. They cannot stay and fight. Now they just back away and say, okay, we lost the dragon. We had a bad decision, we lost it, that's it. Yet they stay. Overpow runs in, ends up dying, and Celaver will drop down as well. So 2 people dies, and the dragon. This is just Rocket not saying, we made a mistake, we can still get out. We can still get out here. Same down the bottom lane. Same deal, they got the tower. Okay, we have to sacrifice Jankos. We get a tower, we give a kill. We can live with this deal, let's just back away. Then all of a sudden, Xaxus just teleports in, ends up dying as well. And they just constantly give up kills to SK Gaming. They don't have to give.
It's going to be a big change in damage coming out as well. Needlessly, the Large Rod was just picked up by Jesiz. Berserker Greaves pretty much an outright buy for CandyPanda, who's really doing so well for SK today. On the top lane, that Bladed Rune King already done in there for Freddy. This is a nice little move though from ROC, trying to capitalize on the recalls, get themselves a tower. This is their 3rd of the game, only 1 behind on that front, so definitely not all lost just yet, but they need to avoid those fights where they're just looking so disjointed.
It's just like, it just looks like miscommunication. Everyone kind of has their own decision. Nobody's making like a call for the group. Oh, except for killing Svenskeren.
Well, they used 3 ultis to get him. 2, sorry. Made sure of it. That's how desperate ROC really are. I mean, it is a pretty close gold difference. Like you said, it's only 1,000, but I think they're feeling the pressure is on them so much that they are literally trying their hardest to make a play, and it's working out sometimes. They manage to get themselves a kill, the jungler down, but what do they get from it? Nothing. Simply a kill and a bunch of assists, which you could argue is better than nothing, but it would be better if they could get some objectives from that one. And while SK were down 4v5, they're the ones that are moving in the jungle. They're the ones that are pushing and getting the wards down.
We have to remember that this Jax pick is so important in the comp Rocket has built, because he needs to be able to one-on-one Freddy. But after the lane swap, we fell behind, so in that case it went in favor of SK Gaming. Then he TP'd down to the bottom lane, died. He was down to the dragon, died as well, and just fell further and further behind. Now SK is just gonna gank him.
Yeah, it's probably gonna go down as well. There is a counter-strike coming up. 1 big crit comes in, and he drops to less than half HP. And look at this, Jesiz coming through the jungle. Overpow is already going to be in there as well. CandyPanda just blows him away. Jesiz going to try and get in. Where is the shockwave? He actually goes against it, and he gets 3 minions.
Yes.
Got 3 of them. Oh, good blast there onto Overpow. They get the tower nonetheless. Here come the resets. Can they get him? There's 1 for CandyPanda. Intervention is down. Super Mega Death Rocket, but resets galore for SK, and that is 2 and the tower.
Crazy, crazy stuff. And just before that fight even kicked off, I was simply looking at the jungle. You know, there was 12, 13 wards from SK and 4 for Rocket. They've just put 2 more down. But wow, I mean, the vision, SK all along said, we are going to this top tower. This is our target. We don't care whether you just took Svenskeren, because that's where we're going. Svenskeren ironically got took down, putting those wards down in the meantime. And CandyPanda is just leaping into Rocket time and time again. He's just going to repel away. He's going to have to flash away. CandyPanda will let him go, but SK Gaming, they are in full control. While it's very close in gold and honestly close in items, SK Gaming have the confidence to make the plays, whereas Rocket, they are reeling, they are unsure, and second-guessing themselves every step of the way now.
And SK Gaming is working as a team. So when they go in for the kills, when they go in for the ganks, everyone is moving at the same time. They have the wards down already. They pre-plan this one like 30 seconds in advance and say, okay, this is tower. This tower we want to kill is down to 20% HP already. Freddy's pushing in the lane. We ward out the jungle. We move over as a unit. And as soon as the tower dies, we jump them. And you see instantly as CandyPanda actually jumped towards Rocket, there was ulti from nRated. Like, there was no like hesitation. It's just instant ult onto him. So he could jump in, get the reset, pick up another kill as well. And they're playing really well as a team, and Rocket is letting them do it. And again, this Jax pick, it's just... Xaxus is falling so far behind. 2 teleports cost him a lot of farm, and the lane swap where he was left alone in the bottom lane and couldn't pick up any farm really meant that he was just so far behind. So while Rocket did everything else right in the lane swap, they just forgot about the top laner, who is one of the key members in that comp, because if he can't split push, he can't do anything.
Look at the top side as well of Rocket's jungle. It's a sea of wards, really, from SK Gaming. Rocket got a couple of their own in there, but nothing really serious. SK literally can't see everything that's going on that top side, and that's something that actually we gave Rocket quite the credit for, but something that's been lackluster from them in this best of 3.
Risky play. VandeR caught out and he's slowed in the pit. SK could easily have clapped on towards him, but they don't care. Look at Freddy in the mid lane. Freddy just pushing away on his own. Rocket actually out of position. If SK just want to swing this around, they can just pile straight on towards him. They now have Dragon position. They're clearing out, sweeping all the wards. 10 seconds until it spawns, and SK game in full control. They don't care about Dragon. They're rushing for mid. They know the position. They know that Rocket are all out of position. They were waiting down the bottom. They're 5 members charging for this inhibitor turret.
And with CandyPanda at the front, he should be able to do a chunk of damage. In fact, it looks like they may even be able to finish up. They were trying to get VandeR at the back there. And will manage to
go back to Dragon
knock you off. But
straight back to Dragon, yeah.
Positional play from SK Gaming. 25 minutes in, 2,000 gold difference.
Bit of a bonus on the way. Pick themselves up the blue buff. Andy.
Rocket is actually moving in here. They might look to fight, but they need to hurry up, and they have to just face check 5 members of SK Gaming.
Well, will they make it? Will they go for it? Charm has to be landing. Instead, it's going to be Freddy. Flash is in there, turns it back around. Now they're going to pounce back to the other side. Rocket splits up in this fight. Xaxus is the focus. He's going to get drawn away. The slow Svenskeren. Looks like SK are going to retreat and not pursue. Rocket, though, they are reeling at every attack right now, and SK full control. They could move to Baron.
And you just saw Jesiz here put the ball on Freddy, then he flashes in onto Overpow. He doesn't have flash himself, but he actually got out of range, so the ball went back to Jesiz here. And also meant that similar to Overpow and Celaver, who was both standing close to it, didn't have to do anything special to actually step away from Freddy. It did mean though, Dragon went down after the quick move to mid lane and blue buff in favor of SK Gaming, and Rocket was just too slow to get in there, didn't have any wards, didn't know how if they could actually go for the fight.
One thing I noticed about Jesiz is he needs to have a little bit more confidence in himself. If we think back to, for example, the Challenger Series finals, What the Fox playing Orianna. If there was one person anywhere near his ball, he'd quite happily shockwave him. They kill that one person and they could get something with a 5 vs 4 scenario. Jesiz holds on to it sometimes a little bit too long and then almost panic presses are thinking, well, I've got to use it now because, you know, this fight's going on and I've not used it already. And I think that if he sometimes thought maybe a little bit less about when he's going to use it and just get it in there, pull the trigger, they'd be able to get these 5 vs 4s where they can push a bit faster.
Also just due to force people away from the towers if they want to push it down and force them away from a dragon. So, like I said, this too. The last fight wasn't really his fault. It was just too far away from Freddy when he actually flashed in. Let's see here, Rocket. So the thing is, if you want to do this trick around the corner, you have to place a ward in the mid lane.
VandeR caught out, nRated, sorry, gonna put the damage down on him. Doesn't bother using that intervention. There is the shockwave. 3 members caught out, but nobody followed up on it. Jesiz now focused on Celaver is gonna get excited, but it's not enough. The Rocket fawns. The Rocket rocket, not enough.
Freddy teleporting in behind the SK Gaming, they're not done yet.
They're gonna go for it.
It's very low.
Oh, it's the knockout. Actually, doesn't get it, and Xaxus is going to start stun him up. The passive is available. Svenskeren's running around in a circle, not really knowing where he's going. There is CandyPanda going in. They're going to get themselves one. There's the jumps over the top. Can they find number 2? They can't, but they might be able to have the in turret away.
CandyPanda didn't actually manage to get the last kill there. Oh, Overpow coming in.
And going out.
Going out.
Didn't have it. Didn't have the minions actually, SK. If they'd have had that wave cleared, they could have gone for it. You talked about it. Jesiz must be listening because he's like, oh, I need to use this shockwave. Cool. Guys, anyone? I've just shockwaved them. But got themselves a kill.
So basically what Rocket was trying to do is raid around the corner in the mid lane, and then when people are standing and clearing the minions, like just in the middle of the mid lane, you kind of collapse onto them with the RE pick. Normally you do have to place a deep ward first to actually see them once the minions are gone, but because nRated ran into the bush after seeing the members, they actually got a nice pick onto him. In the end, we just saw how strong SK are though, because 4 members with Jesiz being extremely low, they still go for the fight. Still end up getting a kill, and CandyPanda would actually gotten a 2nd kill if he didn't step on the trap from Jinx just as he jumped, so he couldn't move after the jump.
So Rocket come in, clear vision around Baron, and then leg it back out. SK make the move. They are not seemingly too interested in that. They have the bottom wave pushing. I think they're going to shove this mid wave in and then rotate straight down, go towards it. Celaver was half-heartedly going across there already, but the wave and the void spikes from Svenskeren will slow them down. Jesiz moves across. Okay. Rocket, you're going to respond to this. We'll go for your inhib. Too slow, buddy, too slow. CandyPanda gets himself 1, 2, 3, he's got about 7, 8, 9, 10. Just free attacking, free attacking. No pressure on him whatsoever. Xaxus, meanwhile, trying to split push against himself. Apparently, I'm not too sure what he's split pushing because SK couldn't give a monkeys about that bottom lane. They're instead taking it in him. Easy.
And now they're just gonna step away, recall, come back to this tower. Hopefully they can defend it. There's actually no teleport on Freddy, so Xaxus might be able to pick up a tower. Should actually do it also because SK Gaming are not done pushing.
Oh, well, they're probably going to trade at most here an inner turret for an inhib turret and inhibitor and an inner turret in the bottom lane. That one will go down now. Xaxus has finished off that turret on the other side of the map, but Freddy will get back to base. So the inhibitor turret itself is not in any danger whatsoever of going down. We've got 1 minute and 10 seconds or so until the next dragon comes up in this game as well. And if we look at the goal, 5,000 in favor of Rocket. Not exactly a massive amount, not an amount that you can't turn around, but if you look down the SK lineup, before they got into that little encounter there, and before they were doing this pushing, they said, okay, it's time to get some defenses here against Overpow, mostly, and they just went 1, 2, 3 Negatron cloaks. Okay, we've all got Merc Treads, everything's good. There's a Guardian Angel for CandyPanda as third item, sorry.
Yeah, plus he also has the ulti from nRated, which pretty much counts as a second life too. And it does block all the damage here, so a lot of protection from CandyPanda just by looking at the KL and also his own item build. But these team fights here, I mean, Xaxus is still... Again, this is one of the reasons Jax kind of fell out of favor, because you have to build Trinity Force and play Adrian King to become this one-on-one split pushing force. But then you delay your tank item for such a long time and you no longer have these great tanky stats. You're just too squishy in the team fight, so he's not able to join any fights. He has to go and split push these lanes. Rocket has to give up towers. I mean, even probably the inhibitor, just to have Xaxus sit in a lane, try and catch up and try and get to his blade of the Ruined King and Trinity Point Force, and he's still pretty far off.
Dragon for SK. Rocket not going to try and attempt to get near this one. They've got zero vision down that way, so SK picked themselves up another chunk of gold. 6,000 gold lead now as Rocket try to defend, keep those super minions at bay. SK Gaming playing it by the numbers though. They're working their way around. They've got the top wave. He's going to push in their favor. Freddy slowly shoved that one out. Bottom lane, CandyPanda working up towards that next inhibitor turret.
It's actually amazing how picking Aatrox for SK Gaming has meant that Xaxus didn't want to play Alistar at all. Wicked lost the one-on-one lane against Aatrox yesterday as Alistar, but you're not picking Alistar to win the lane, you're picking him because he's insanely strong in team fights. They could have still gone for the pick, didn't have to fall back to a split pushing comp. Remember again yesterday, every time Rocket played a split pushing comp against Fnatic, they lost. They didn't know what to do, they always fell behind, they took actually they took team fights when they shouldn't. They should be looking to split push. Never got to the point where they could really split push, and they've been doing the same today. Just because Aatrox gets locked in, they're like, we're not gonna play Alistar, I don't want to lose the lane, and instead fall back to split pushing, which has not been working.
Saw the shockwave going down there, and whilst it didn't really pull anyone back, they did manage to get one low, and nRated is actually going to fall without using his ultimate. That's bad news for SK. CandyPanda though starts to move in. There is Svenskeren as well. We see Celaver actually cleansing himself off there to move forward, but CandyPanda doing a lot of damage, doesn't quite finish off Overpow. They should be able to get the inhibitor here, but they need to be careful. Chompers will actually get CandyPanda locked up, and they now need to run because Xaxus and Jankos coming speeding out of the base, and there's the jumps in action again.
Yeah, they can disengage so fast. There's a big wave in the top, but SK, they can't get involved. Rocket successfully defended for now. They did lose their tower, but they didn't lose the inhibitor, and their middle one will be respawning soon. Rocket, this is the time. They realize what they've got to do. They've got to rush Baron. It's going to be a risky play, and that's why Freddy's teleporting to mid.
Everyone from SK Gaming is just running up towards this mid lane here, or towards the Baron. CandyPanda is trying to heal on the minions, and Rocket didn't start it there.
They caught him. They're going to jump on Freddy. He's going to get taken down here. He's going to try and jump away. Hello, intervention, and nRated joins the party. And the desperate play from Rocket has not worked. If they'd have got him, they could have got Baron. They may have been able to turn something around. They've got themselves an advantage. Overpow using Spirit Rush there, but not catching anyone.
And The intervention, I don't think was even needed there, but nRated, because he got blown up in that last fight, actually still had it spare, so I suppose why not? Better safe than sorry. Bring it to a 4 versus 5. Could have meant a Baron for ROC, but for now that won't happen. Xaxus still trying to get himself up to that Blade of the Ruin King. So that'll still be a bit of a problem for him. He's trying to take the jungle and everything else that's really on offer for him. But he is a good distance behind. There's Jesiz just waiting off to the side. Seeing if anyone from ROC would venture far enough out. In the end, they decide against it. Overpow, let's see if he can actually flank around from this one. Overpow's performance not being too bad, but he can't flank right now because his ultimate's down after he tried to use it earlier.
SK again pushing up 2 exposed inhibitors. ROC are going to have to defend this without a tower. Freddy caught out with the charm he has got. He's just going to dive straight back.
Yeah, who's caught out here?
Who's caught out who? Yeah, exactly. Svenskeren takes a zap. Them zaps starting to do some damage. Celaver has got a lot of power in those rockets now. He needs to land them, but the shockwave pulls him in, and Celaver gets picked apart. VandeR goes down as well. ROC fall. Now they jump across. Jankos pouncing in towards him. CandyPanda blows one backwards. The Jankos gets picked out. 3 members are down now for ROC, and SK Gaming with the minions in their favor will push through, take down the Nexus turrets, and move on to the World Championships in 2014. SK Gaming are the number 3 European seed.
Deserved here as well, I feel, after a 2nd place in spring, 3rd this time around. This is when it really counted for them. And now, yesterday, losing out 3-1 to Alliance was definitely crushing. We heard Jesiz say earlier that it never really dawned on him how much he cares about Worlds, which, number 1, I think is a strange thing to say anyway, but number 2, that he realized it yesterday after that one. See there, Alex Miller, the owner of SK Gaming, up on stage. Proud of the team.
And what a change it was. They had a massive change back in the spring. Completely new team came in. Everybody was wondering, how are these guys going to do? They got number 1 throughout the league in the spring. Lost out to the playoffs to Fnatic. Didn't quite get to All-Stars. But now, again, number 3. This is a team that is grown and developed throughout the season. And that man in the middle, he needs to get himself some confidence because, again, SK performed. But for me, Freddy is the incredible man behind SK Gaming. You saw it all the way through that. Nobody can deal with Freddy. Wicked couldn't deal with Freddy. No chance Xaxus could deal with Freddy. They had no idea what to do. They seemed clueless in the pick and bans.
So I'm just gonna say the entire team for SK Gaming. The teamwork they have together, the shot calling they can do, the way they set up the place, especially in the last game, was incredible. And also the reason they were always 1 step ahead of Rocket. And even though the level 1, the lanes of, you didn't get your dragon, it doesn't matter because our top laner, Freddy, at the moment is just farming up a storm. And your Jax is left alone. It was the key part about the game. Xaxus never really joined the game. He was just farming minions, and it was just way too late.
Didn't get involved. The Jax pick was just a nothing, really, in that game. It didn't do anything. You have to wonder as well, do you ban out Aatrox? You can leave something like Nidalee, which is pretty much the same thing, I think, if it goes into Freddy's hands. He's just going to become unmanageable, going to be split pushing all day long before he eventually breaks through. Funnily enough, after I said that Jesiz seems to be a little more trigger happy, he actually did it there at the end, straight in with a shockwave, caught 2 guys, and I think you're right, you said it right. He needs a bit more confidence, this kid, because he is a brilliant talent. Just needs to believe in himself a little more.
My one worry is that he is bannable. That's a problem for him. You look at the top lane, Freddy can adjust and play whatever he wants. CandyPanda, no problem, AD carries. He's got a plethora of champions. nRated pulling out every support possible, whatever he fancies. Jungle, Svenskeren, he's probably adapted pretty well. You know better than anyone else. But Jesiz, yes, while he's a little little bit limited, maybe, but he got all of Ari and Oriana throughout this tournament and played brilliantly on them every single time. We're going to go over to the main stage, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear what FK has to say.
Thank you very much, D-Man. First off, of course, an applause from the crowd, because you guys made it. Jesse, I maybe want to hear from you first, because we heard in the video that you didn't really realize how much it meant to you. You guys did it.
Yeah, after losing yesterday, it made it clear for me how much I wanted to win. And I basically just gave 150% today. Yesterday, I gave definitely 100%, but it was sad to lose. And I was really sad, I was really mad, and I just wanted to win more than anything.
Yeah, Candy, talk us through that. Yesterday, heartbreaking for you guys, yet you guys were pretty relaxed when I saw you backstage in the beginning. Talk us through what happened last night living up to this moment.
Yeah, we rewatched the VODs, like the replays, and we realized that we kind of threw all the games except the last one. So we just watched it and see how we can rotate better, how to not throw. And then we did that today, and that's why we were relaxed. Like, we knew if we just play a bit better than yesterday, we could win.
A bit better, and you guys all stepped up. Jesse, I have to say, this is actually your first season in the LCS. You make it to Worlds, and we feel that you've grown a lot as a player. Did you feel that in this game that you're able to take the stage more better and make those plays?
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous though. I could easily feel that every move I made would always be like only like halfway, and then because I would be like really nervous and like scared, and whenever I would jump in, I would not click on the buttons right, and I would fail and whatever. But it's like, I don't know, I've gotten really confident, so it's fine.
Well, about confidence, that's actually something that I've seen in the whole team and rated yesterday, even before the game. I saw and you were totally relaxed that you were going to make it. Talk me through the journey you had with these guys this season.
I think it was an up and down. At the start in Spring Split, we started out so strong, and Summer Split at the start was strong as well. Then we kind of got into a slump, which made us like struggle more than we actually wanted to. But right now, I feel like we're on a height, and we just need to keep practicing and keep improving. And I think we have a good shot at Worlds. We just try our best, and we try to represent Europe as good as possible.
You say you have a good shot at Worlds. What can SK bring to Worlds? We already have Fnatic, we already have Alliance going there. What's a different thing that SK is going to bring to Worlds? How far can you go?
Well, we might be able to surprise some people with our picks and bans. That's always what we're doing. And I think overall our playstyle is very solid, and we've improved so much when you see that before people were calling us out for having not good lanes, and right now we just keep improving and seems like we're winning the lanes. So let's see what we can do in Worlds.
Absolutely great improvement here, as you say. Finally, I don't know who wants to do this, a shout out to the fans who have stuck by SK Gaming. I think, Candy, you might be the right person to give a shout out to your fans.
Can you say it again? Sorry.
Give a shout out to the SK Gaming fans who stuck by you.
Yeah, thanks to all the fans who like stick with us through all the seasons. Like last season we got relegated, but this season we knew we could get to Worlds, and we did it. Thank you.
Guys, give it up one more time for SK Gaming. They're going to Worlds. Fantastic stuff here. Congratulations, guys. We'll see you at Worlds. And as for us, we're going to head back over to the desk.
Man, that's got to feel good. You're going to Worlds, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic, fantastic stuff. So, with that third place victory, SK Gaming will now head to the 2014 World Championships as the #3 seed for Europe. And this is a good time to check out the other teams that have been confirmed so far. We all know, of course, that SK now will be joining Alliance and Fnatic, who are in the finals tomorrow as the teams representing Europe. And this week at Gamescom, don't forget, Dark Passage also qualified the Turkish team through the international wildcard. They managed to get a seat as well. This morning, the Taipei Assassins, they qualified for Worlds by winning the 2014 GPL Summer. And of course, a few weeks ago, we saw Samsung Blue become the first team to qualify and guarantee their seat from the OGN champions. Guys, what do we think overall? The teams, 6 teams so far, many more to get locked in, but already it's building up to be an amazing World Championships once again.
Yeah, of course, your natural response kind of looks at the Korean teams after the dominant performances of last year, but we're still to figure out exactly who's going to be coming over from China. Funny thing is, you look at Dark Passage there as the weakest team, I think, that's qualified so far, but the way that they played in wildcards are some of the most exciting League of Legends that we've actually seen in a while, and it wouldn't surprise me if they can take a couple of sneaky games off teams.
They can definitely surprise people, because if you don't expect like instant action, like instant people who are just gonna constantly team fight you, you might get surprised, you might end up falling too far behind and can lose it. We also, of course, if you look at the European teams, now we saw SK Gaming dominate Rocket. Remember Rocket won 2 games against Fnatic yesterday, where Alliance actually managed to beat SK Gaming, only losing 1 game. So I'm not sure if this means Alliance is, you know, a step above Fnatic. We're going to find out tomorrow. Starting the hype here.
That's the classic. We beat these, so they beat them. So that means we're going to dump on them.
All I'm saying is that SK Gaming looked extremely strong against Rocket, or we could say Rocket didn't really show up today at all. So tomorrow, I really want to see what Alliance can do against Fnatic.
But as Jesiz did just say, you know, or CandyPanda rather, they did rewatch some games, and SK were winning in all of those games. So while they're coming through as the number 3 seed for Europe, they're a very strong number 3 seed.
They are. Going into Worlds, of course, they will be down as a Group D or possibly at the number 3, the bottom
seed.
So it's.
I just said it.
You did. I meant more the fact. Okay, so we have the European and NA number 3 seed being down the bottom end. We have 4 groups.
Yeah, no,
the bottom.
Do we need to show you the graphic?
The problem with being a 3rd seed is that you are going to end up in a group of death, technically, because you are going to meet a higher seed from one of the other regions.
And that's the big thing about being number 1. You know, you avoid the top North American, the top Chinese, and the top Korean. The top Korean is Samsung Blue, as far as I'm aware, in terms of point standings. Of course, close your ears now if you don't want to know spoilers, but they did lose the OGN Championships. They didn't win it. KT Arrows did. So are they the number 1 Korean team?
And will KT Arrows even qualify? That's it, the thing as well.
They're only number 4 in the
points to be decided still.
Yeah. So there's a long way to go, obviously, over there. So a lot of matches to happen. North America, that's coming up in a few weeks as well. So much action, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, tomorrow we have the final European LCS match of the Summer Players, as Alliance will be battling Fnatic for the championship crown and that important number 1 seed at Worlds in a best of 5. That's all happening, of course, tomorrow. Some fantastic games that we've had so far throughout this week at Gamescom. Any big moments that stand out for you?
Any big moments? First of all, I really like watching the wildcard teams, because you get these new regions and you get these players to represent their region. And as a European, of course, we have all the national pride of the Danes. I have for the Danes here. And whenever we do have any kind of competition between countries, and it was nice to see also all the people supporting the wildcard teams. That was definitely a big moment. Otherwise, I mean, SK Gaming completely destroying Rocket right here. It surprised me. I was expecting 5 games, to be honest. And then SK Gaming just show up here.
Yeah, for me, it has to be the semi-final. Rocket Fnatic, in my opinion, one of the best of 5s that we've seen in the European LCS so far. Rocket was so close to winning that game, which I think is why this loss here might even be tougher to swallow for them. Getting 3-0'd, not looking like you've got much of a chance by the end of it. But they came so close to beating Fnatic yesterday. Tough pill to swallow for Rocket, but in my opinion, they can be proud. They came in as KMT, and they're leaving as the 4th place team from the Summer Split. I mean, they've done a lot of work this year, a lot to build on for next year.
Yeah, I think their future is absolutely secured. We'll see how they work out in 2015. Of course, right now, 2014, the World Championships, that's what we want to focus on. And Cyanide and Fnatic, well, they're hoping to continue their string of winning every split in the LCS, while Frog and Alliance, well, they look to take it for themselves.
All of us want to really finish first, because we already did it 3 splits in a row, and we don't want to stop now. We want to keep the image that Fnatic is the EU team to cheer for.
We kind of want to see Fnatic lose after 3 splits. It would obviously be really fun to actually take that away from them.
Can they do it? That's the big question. Fnatic, 3 splits running. Can they get the 4th? Nobody has won the European LCS other than Fnatic. They have dominated it across the 2 seasons. You guys came close at one point. Not quite there.
We were close to being number 1. We still had to win the playoff.
Honestly, until Extinct left, I had you down as potential number 1 in that split, but then it all.
But that's the thing about Fnatic, man. They just make sure everyone else don't have a chance to win.
They've
So tomorrow, Froggen is going to be sick. He's gone. Fnatic takes it.
I'm not too sure about that one. Remember, of course, that series will be kicking off on Sunday, tomorrow here at 3 p.m. Central European time. That is Hall 8 at Gamescom if you're there, or 6 a.m. Pacific if you're over in North America. That does it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to extend a special thanks to Crepo once again for being our guest on the analyst desk today. And now for myself, Deficio Joe, and Quickshot Shocks, and the entire broadcast team, thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. It's SK Gaming. They're going to be taking on ROC in a best-of-5 for the all-important seat at the World Championships.
That entire time there's going for Overpow, and it is going to be the charm that gets it. And very early.
This is 4 members.
Svenskeren. This could be real bad for ROC.
It is going to be ROC going out in game 1.
Oh, they're actually going in towards Jankos here. Have they got it down to Svenskeren? Actually going quite low. Freddy though will jump in, does get finished off by Jesiz though in the end, and Freddy will also pick himself up and kill.
It's 2-0 in SK Gaming. They're one step away from Wolves. Shockwave comes out, Jankos repels. He's going to try and draw their attention. They're going to keep on pushing this one. Xaxus teleports in. Intervention will stop him dead in his tracks. He needs the land up, but the Shockwave pulls him in, and Celaver.
Are you happy, Joe?
But VandeR goes down as well. SK Gaming are the number 3 European seed.